One of the most important reasons to become a great lover is to keep your lover satisfied so that they don't go looking for satisfaction somewhere else. Hi, I'm Caitlin V, the creator of Come When You Want, the masterclass for lasting longer in bed. And one of the primary things I hear all the time from men in my masterclass is like, how do I prevent her from cheating? How do I stop her from going somewhere else to get her needs met because I'm afraid that I'm not satisfying her? And if you're not satisfying her, guess what? It's only a matter of time until she goes and gets satisfied from somebody else. I'm here to help you prevent that from happening. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to determine if somebody is cheating and give you some techniques to use to prevent things from ever coming down to that. So hopefully it's not too late. Hopefully you're getting this video far before she actually cheats on you and we can stop it from happening right here together. All right, why even talk about cheating? Well, if you've ever been cheated on, you know it sucks. It sucks to find out that you've been cheated on, whether you walked in on your partner or you found their text messages while changing the volume on their iPad when you were together cleaning out your house before your move, which was my case the second time. If you have been cheated on, and whether or not you have, you can imagine just how much it hurts to know that the person who is closest to you in the world would lie to you, do something that was outside of the agreements of your relationship, and do something that they know was going to cause you so much harm and pain if you ever found out, and was outside of integrity and honesty, even if you never found out. That's why I want you to avoid being cheated on at all costs, because I don't want you to ever have to go through that pain. Or if you've gone through it, to ever have to go through it again. Also, can you prevent cheating from happening? I think that's a worthwhile question to ask. If we can prevent cheating from happening, it's worth it. Just like if we can prevent, breaking a bone. Also a very painful experience. Also preventable experience. Okay, something important to know here is that you cannot stop all people from cheating. You could be amazing in bed, you could be a very attentive lover, you could be giving her everything that she needs and wants, and she could still cheat. She's not cheating just because of you. People cheat because they don't believe that they're worthy of love, or they have other stuff going on, or they're just opportunistic, or they're looking for their next partner. Sometimes cheating has nothing to do with you, and therefore sometimes it cannot be prevented. But often it can, and that is what I'm going to teach you here today. Now, let me say one thing first. If you're insecure and you already think that she's cheating, every time she looks at her phone, then you probably need to cool your jets. The average person isn't cheating all day every day. They're just not. And so if every time she mentions that she's got a new coworker or a new male friend or somebody that she met that's cool, you're instantly like, I gotta secretly sign into her Facebook and her Instagram, and I gotta read all her text messages and check her emails and see what she's doing. This video is not for you. That's a very different issue. I'm talking about just the average person who feels pretty comfortable in their relationship but maybe has some questions on whether or not their partner is being faithful. Something else that's important to know is that some people cheat because they don't know how to break up. So if your relationship should be ending, if you two are not getting along, you're fighting more than you're agreeing, if you aren't in a committed relationship where you have children or you're married or you own property together, you've been dating for a couple years and things just aren't good. Some people just cheat so that they can get out. Some people cheat because they're testing out other lovers. And so if your relationship is already in a bad place, don't wait for her to cheat. Just end it. My God, you're worth more than that. You are enough to be in a relationship where somebody doesn't treat you like crap and doesn't cheat on you in order to get out of the relationship. End your relationship before it comes to that, and don't cheat yourself just to end a relationship. That's not cool. You guys, just break up. Cheating definitely sucks worse than breaking up. I think, cheating followed by breaking up sucks worse than just breaking up. Although some people think it's a lot easier because they're so mad, they're hurt, it makes it easier to walk away from a relationship, but I swear to you, just develop the emotional maturity to not have to be mad or upset in order to know what's best for you and to end a relationship. Way better to divide your books and your cooking utensils when you're on good terms than when you're so mad because you caught her in bed with your friend. With that out of the way, how to know that she's cheating. Number one, pay attention. You have to know her signs and signals and what's normal for her in order to know what's not normal. So if you're not paying attention and she cheats on you and then completely goes whoop right over your head, bro, that's on you. Second, she's distant. She's just not present with you. She's using her phone. She's not home at all. Your communication isn't regular. Even when she's in the room with you, it feels like she's far away. Number 3, she's literally far away. She's spending a lot of time away from you, whether that's working late at the office or at the mall on the weekends. She just doesn't seem to be around anymore. 4, she starts accusing you of cheating. Interesting psychological trick of cheaters is that often they're really insecure and very worried that you're cheating. It's kind of a good indication that they are the kind of person who would cheat themselves if they're constantly accusing you of being the cheating party. Like, they realize that they have something to be worried about because we all kind of assume that everyone else operates on the same level that we do. Number 5, she's not having sex or being intimate with you. Sometimes this even looks like she pulls away from kisses, cuddling, smooches. Like, she's just putting a lot of physical distance between you and her, and she's not as down for sex as she used to be. Now, there are some instances where she's actually going to be more interested in sex because the more sex that someone has, the more sex that they want. But more likely, she's going to be wanting more sex from that other guy. So for the most part, you're going to see a decrease in your sex life, even though you've been really giving and game and amply down to please her. She's still pulling away, and you're having less sex and less intimacy, less physical connection than what you're used to. All right, so that's how to know if somebody might be cheating. If you see all of those signs, it's a good opportunity for you to communicate with her about it. Just say, hey, I'm noticing a lot of distance. I'm noticing that we're not having as much sex. Is something going on? I'm afraid you might be seeing somebody else. Communication is key. And if she vehemently denies it or even violently denies it or starts to throw things at you like you're being insecure or it's your fault that we don't have sex anymore, those are some things for you to take into consideration. Those might be signals that she actually is cheating. I can't tell you based off of just that. Sometimes when somebody goes really, really far to deny it, or on the other hand, they're just like, nah, you're being crazy. Like, look for the more extreme, either extremely gentle reaction, almost like a no reaction, like that feels very extreme, or the far extreme of overreaction, accusatory, yelling, starting a fight about you even saying it. Those reactions, in my personal experience, are the ones to look out for. Like, once I caught an ex-boyfriend cheating because I was hanging out with him and this other girl, and I suddenly just sensed that there was this tension between them, like a sexual tension. And I said, hey, I feel like you guys have had sex. And he was very, very vigorous in his denial, yelling, screaming, accusing me. I thought, this reaction doesn't match up with the accusation. I really feel like something has happened between the two of you, and I'm pretty in tune with interpersonal dynamics. Even long before I was a sex coach, I still had some skills where that was concerned, and his denial compiled with my intuitive sense let me know that something was definitely wrong about that scenario. And after pushing him for 3 days, he finally caved and admitted to me. And all of that damage that happened over those 3 days of him straight lying to me could have absolutely been mitigated if he had just been honest with me from the beginning. Or on the other hand, if I had just said, you know what, this overreaction is way too much, I'm just gonna get out of here. Okay, so that's how to tell if your partner is cheating, but let's talk about how to prevent them from cheating in the first place. Number 1, communicate regularly about your relationship. Make sure that both of you are in the know about how you're doing as a couple, as a unit. This kind of communication can be really hard, so the two of you can seek out the help of a coach or a counselor, or set aside some time every single week, like an hour or so, to talk about your whole relationship. If you own a home together, you have kids, talk about those things during that time. Have a weekly meeting about your finances and check in. How do we feel together? Are we communicating? Are we having sex and intimacy? Are we spending time together? Do we feel loving with and to each other? And if not, what can we do to restore those things in our relationship before something bad happens? Number 2, keep her satisfied in the bedroom. If you are like the stereotypical guy who ejaculates before she has an orgasm, and then rolls over and falls asleep, understand that she's going to feel really disappointed with your sex life. And if you're too embarrassed to actually learn how to last longer in bed, cure your premature ejaculation, actually do something to change it, then understandably she's going to feel frustrated. I've spoken to men and women where the man had premature ejaculation for 20 years, never did anything about it, didn't even acknowledge it. And then inevitably she left. She asked for a divorce because she was tired of it. Like, she wanted her sexual needs to even be on the table and up for discussion. Should she have said something earlier? Absolutely. But many people don't have the skills that it requires to have a conversation about sex, including the couple. And you might be able to prevent a divorce by having that conversation early, by saying, hey, you know what? I realize that I'm not lasting long enough in bed to bring you pleasure, and I'm going to do something about that. And maybe what you do is you go into the link in the description and you check out my course, Come When You Want. You can get, it comes with a 30-day money back guarantee. If it is not a good fit for you, if it doesn't actually help you to cure your premature ejaculation, then just ask for a refund. I will give you your money back. But do something about your PE to prevent her from cheating. That is the most important thing. If you take nothing away from this, understand that not doing anything or hoping that it's going to go away when you get older is not going to cure it. You actually have to do something active to make it go away. And it's possible. You can start seeing a difference in your PE in as little as 2 weeks. To be honest, you can start seeing a difference immediately. You could start lasting longer by tomorrow, but you have to start now in order to prevent the end of your relationship before she goes looking for pleasure with a guy who can last as long as he wants because he learned how to control his ejaculation. Maybe because he took my course. Number 3, continue to do new and interesting things. Women's brains need novelty. They need new and exciting stuff. I mean, we all do, but women's brains when it comes to sex especially. So different positions, different styles of sex. Maybe you want to get a little kinky or a little sensual, a little touchy, a little energetic. You want to keep it fresh and fascinating. Go get a hotel room if you can afford it. Take her out for your anniversary. Go hot tubbing. Go skiing. Look at naked pictures of other people together. I don't care what you do, but do something new and novel and interesting, and not just for you, not just sexually gratifying for you, but for her as well. Maybe what's sexually gratifying for her is being laid down on a bed of roses and slowly massaged with a bunch of coconut oil. Great. You can do those things for her and then tell her what would be sexually gratifying for you next week. But do not expect that you can just have the same sex over and over and over again and it continue to be as satisfying for her as it used to be when you started. It just can't be. That's just not how their bodies work. That's just not how women's bodies work. That's not how sex works in a long-term relationship. You have to keep it interesting. And then 4, take her needs seriously and be proactive about meeting them. If she says, hey, I really need more one-on-one time with you, she's probably not just throwing it out there. She's probably been thinking about it for a while and she's just now saying it to you. So listen for her to communicate her needs. Often when a couple splits, they say to each other, well, I've been saying this for years. Or I knew this was a red flag from the moment that we got together. Having regular, ongoing communication about your relationship can prevent you from being surprised that you weren't meeting her needs later. Maybe she needs more foreplay. Maybe she needs more cuddle time after sex. Maybe she needs to have sex in the evening instead of the morning. Listen to her needs, take them seriously, be proactive about meeting them. Not to the degree where you completely roll over and are just like a machine that is subjugated to her trying to meet all her needs, but doing your due diligence to prevent her from going elsewhere to get her needs met. Because don't get me wrong, you could even be trying to meet her needs and just falling short. There's plenty of guys out there that, at least in the short term, are very happy to try to meet all of her needs. And if she's not worth it, if you're not into the relationship deep enough to do that work, to try to meet her needs at all, then get out of the relationship. And let me say this to the guy who's going to comment on this video saying, why don't you make videos about how women should please men more or how women can prevent men from cheating? Why are you always talking to men? I talk to men because I'm an expert at male sexuality. And listen, I'm going to say this once very clearly, so listen up. If you could give a damn about meeting her needs and you're not interested in doing it, get out of the relationship. Just go. It is not worth it to keep her in the state she's married to or she's with this guy who doesn't care about her needs getting met, doesn't care about her sexual pleasure, doesn't even care if she cheats. Just get out. Just go. Because both of you deserve better than that. I care too much about you and too much about your satisfaction and her satisfaction. It's not worth it. Life is short. Whew, I got a little heated there for a minute. Also, it's really hot in this apartment. Okay, before I melt, let's recap what we learned. Number 1, cheating sucks. Number 2, it can't all be prevented, but some of it can. Number 3, there are some pretty telltale signs that someone is cheating on you, primarily that they're distant and the intimacy between you is diminishing over time. Number 4, you can prevent her from cheating by listening to her, communicating, being attentive to her needs, and giving her awesome sex that is novel and interesting. Go out there and don't get cheated on, my friends. Mwah!